Please put down what you're redoing and listen to not at a later time, not following the diversion. Now settle, because this is more than simply another message. It's a wonderful interruption. You and I are in the same room. Yes, I am present in the exact area you are in at the moment. Furthermore, you are unaware of what is already in motion around you. This speech is not meant to be consoling. This is a sacred conflict. I am going to show you that I am still close as you've been asking. Thus, don't you dare to scroll. Please don't mute me in the middle. This should not be regarded as background noise. I will say things that reflect your atmosphere, so pay attention till the last breath of this word. Every moment has a purpose. There is glory in every moment. You'll miss what you were meant to hear if you go too soon, so stay, kid. Hush the cacophony of your surrounds and the flurry of ideas in your mind, my dear kid. This is not a light-hearted time. It is not ephemeral, arbitrary, or imagined. It is divine, it's intentional, and it's taking place right now. I am here, not merely observing, not merely thinking about you from a distance. As your eyes read these words and your chest rises and falls with each breath. I am in the same room where your anguish has reverberated in quiet and where you have muttered your prayers in between sobs. With all the weight of my splendor and the tenderness of a parent whose love is immeasurable, I stand next to you. Poetic imagery is not what this is. This isn't a consoling idea designed to cheer you up. This is your reality, the truth. It's also more genuine than the wall behind you or the chair underneath you. I am not far away. It is neither a path nor a hope. I intervened because something had been corrected rather than because something had gone wrong. The call, the timing, the alignment, and your soul. They have all united at this holy moment. And I decided to let you know with this very breath. You are not by themselves. You've been waiting for my voice, hoping for thunderous miracles or signals in the skies. I am not merely a deity of spectacle, though, youngster. I am the deity of intimacy, quiet, and breath. I wanted you to feel me before you saw me, so I decided to enter your room in a silent, majestic manner. No messenger was sent by me. I didn't give you consolation by tapping someone else on the shoulder. I came on my own. I've seen the weariness of pondering in your soul, wondering if I moved away, if I became aloof, if maybe you made a mistake that caused me to turn away. But pay attention to me. Not only have I remained here the entire time, but I have also been leaning in, waiting for your spirit to become calm enough to recognize my presence. You're experiencing more than simply emotion at this moment, my darling. It's an encounter. It is the collision of time and eternity, the reverberation of my unceasing voice. You were never waiting for me to come, even if you couldn't hear it. I was waiting for the quiet to get to the point where your heart could hear it, the reality. I am in the space. And a place becomes hallowed as soon as I enter there. It become a sacred site. Remove your performance shoes then. Set aside the clothes of shame and guilt. No matter how your soul reacts, stand, cry, or kneel to it with awareness of this. A fantasy is not being entertained by you. You are feeling your Creator's proximity. I didn't come to visit either. I was here to stay. I've heard every whisper that shook out of your chest while you thought nobody was awake. My darling. I've observed your face against the pillow drenched in tears. Your voice is too weak to be heard over a murmur. That whisper, however, was like thunder in my ears. Unbeknownst to you, every word you uttered in agony turned into a sound that moved heaven. You may have sobbed yourself to sleep, believing me to be aloof, but kid, music, I was there. I heard more than simply what you said. Behind them I could feel the pain. I didn't require a change in loudness, I required your candor. And how, in the shadows, you have been truthful with me. I could always hear you without you having to yell. To get my attention, you didn't need to write the ideal prayer or quote a single scripture. You just had to be honest. You were too. I leaned closer in your vulnerability. With all the affection of a father who never grows tired of his child's voice, I moved close to your shivering vulnerability. Performance was never what I was searching for. I was anticipating your heart's rawness, and I received it from you. I want you to know that I didn't watch helplessly as you endured some remote heaven. No, I descended and took a seat next to you. I was closer than your own breath in the calm nook of your chamber. I saw the weariness behind your routine and the conflict behind your smile. And I saw someone carrying too much on their own, while the rest of the world saw someone strong. And for that reason, I decided to tell you at this precise moment. You no longer have to bear it by yourself. I am not waiting for you to finish your breakdown or tidy up before I intervene. I've already done so. My robe is cleaning the damaged areas of your floor. The areas of your heart that hurt silently are where my hand is resting, kid. This is not metaphorical. Here I am, Emmanuel, God, sitting in the room with you, feeling the heat of your grief and encircling the cold of your loneliness. If God really loved me, wouldn't I feel him? You asked yourself. You have sensed me, I tell you. When there was an unexpected rush of power and an unexpected quieting of the pandemonium, when you shed tears yet they didn't break you. I was that person, it is not a metaphor. I am speaking directly to the part of you that still questions whether your voice counts to me, so pay close attention now. I am speaking to you as the person currently seated at the foot of your bed, not as a far-off king. Every word has been heard by me, even the ones you were too scared to speak aloud. Even what you said at 3 a.m. in a whisper to the ceiling. I am praying that someone is listening. Not only did I hear them, I captured them. I kept them sacred in the heavenly archives. There was not a single wasted syllable. Not a single query was overlooked. I was concerned about every single egg. You must be aware of this. I archived your struggle when others disregarded it. I inscribed music when others disregarded your suffering. I witnessed music everything, when you thought no one could see how much it took you to continue believing in me. I remember what you say in private. In my kingdom, the things that are said in private actually have the biggest impact, since the prayers that change the atmosphere are those that come from suffering. And yours, my love, have not only touched me but also things you cannot see. You believed me to be quiet, but I was responding to you in ways you couldn't understand. I was here, waiting, getting ready, and listening to music in anticipation of this meeting before you even opened your eyes today. Before the burden of this world once more left its marks on your shoulders. I had already left my mark on your day's timeline. Nothing that you've encountered today was unfamiliar to me. Not the exhaustion, not the disappointments, not the painful quiet you've been accustomed to. I anticipated everything, and I presented this as a divine clash between my authority and your desperation. This message is not something you happened upon by accident. They called for you. An unseen thread of grace pulled you in. I've been slowly, tenderly, and lovingly tightening my grip around your heart until you were unable to ignore the pull. I was a tug, dear. I've planned this precise breath. This moment, this silent space, this screen in front of you, because I had to say something that your cries, your efforts, and your survival could no longer overpower. To me, you are not invisible. I have never once forgotten you, child. Even though you may have been disregarded by others, missed opportunities, and circumvented by blessings, your name is inscribed in the folds of eternity by me. It is not faded. It doesn't fall between the gaps in divine memory. You are not lost in the throng I created. I am concentrating on you. I am orchestrating you. And this is more than a fleeting consolation. This is divine evidence that I continue to write your name in locations that are inaccessible to the outside world. This is a handwritten reminder from heaven that you are more important than you have recently music dared to think. I prevented you from being punished by the burden of loneliness. I let it happen so you could at last tell the difference between the true and the fake. And this is what you are, emotions at the moment. This interruption is holy. Deep within your music breast, this spiritual warmth is stirring. It's the most authentic thing you've seen in a long time. The voice of the one who stayed behind is this: my child, let me be clear. I didn't leave you in the heartbreak hallway. Alongside you, I strolled those hallways. When you felt your hand become numb, I held it. When the weight of unresolved questions caused your knees to crumble, I steadied them. I was present for every why, every how long, and every unfulfilled sigh, into words. The adversary has attempted to persuade you that being invisible equates to being irrelevant. However, I tell you that your concealment was deliberate. While I was getting you ready, I was protecting you. While I was healing you, I kept you hidden. I was silent because I was setting up the foundation for your mission, not because I had forgotten about you. Additionally, I had to keep what I was still secretly mastering hidden from prying eyes. However, the curtain is gradually becoming thinner. The quiet is now giving way to sound. The invisible is now indisputable. I am not merely letting you know that you are not by yourself. I am demonstrating it with my strength, my presence, and this intense moment inside of me. It will serve as the foundation for your upcoming chapter. You still have to wait. My dear, this is the turning of the page. There is movement in the air around you. It's saturated. Thick with the weight of what has long been predicted for your life, saturated with glory. Inhale the aroma of breakthrough. Additionally, even if your normal senses might still be catching up, your soul is already aware of it. It can identify the cadence of my steps, the divine in action burning quietly. In the silence you sensed a stirring. That inexplicable pain that appeared in your chest when nothing seemed to justify it. That wasn't nervousness. It was awakening. Ivy arrived into the room, and the shudder of change is with me. When I fall in love, I don't walk lightly. And for you, sweetheart, I intervened with tenderness that was disguised by thunder. Music, every cell in your body is responding, even if you can't think of a name for it. The unexplained music pressure in your chest and the fire behind your eyes are not coincidental. Your soul is repeating the presence it was meant to yearn for through their resonance. I am changing the mood using weight rather than noise. Instead of screaming, there was a holy silence. My movements aren't always loud, but they are never insignificant. My brilliance weighs me down like heavy dew on parched earth. It penetrates the areas where you felt breathless and desolate. This isn't fantasy. This is an incarnation. Not only is the word music becoming present in the world, but it is also present in your little world, right in your room. Your situation's temperature is shifting. It's not because everything is ideal, but rather because I showed up. When will something finally shift, has been on your mind, and here is my response. Not next year, but now, not when you more powerful. Not when your faith is stronger. The change starts when your spirit starts to sense me. Not when the world starts to make sense and youngster. It's already has. Heaven has descended and isn't departing empty-handed, so your inner world is humming with excitement. If things start to feel strange, don't be shocked. Comfort is not the first benefit of the move, it creates contrast. What was previously secure could suddenly feel oppressive. What was once satisfying could now appear stale. That doesn't indicate a problem. That indicates a change in you. The new wine cannot be contained within the old wineskin. I am increasing your capacity by extending what has been too constrained for too long. The ground underneath you is indeed shifting. Indeed, you are surrounded by charged air. It's true that your soul hurts, but it's not chaos. Consecration is what it is. I am not interrupting your reality in order to ruin it. I am upsetting it in order to transport you to something more profound, intricate, and steeped in the specifics of your fate. I didn't come to make you feel good. I come to work the soil of your vocation, to penetrate the hardest areas and create space for the ivy-planted seeds that will blossom. Therefore, don't be afraid of the change. Dawn, tee back down from the trembling. This isn't your cage being rattled by the enemy. I am the one shaking the chains of disappointment. Delay chains of decreased aspirations. I am not here to request authorization. I am come to take possession of what is rightfully mine. And you are mine, sweetheart. Thoroughly understand your vocabulary. The atmosphere is aware of this. The angels around you are aware of it. The adversary is aware of it. It's time for you to remember it now. When I enter a room, everything has to bow. Fear has to run. There must be an end to confusion. There must be hope. That's the atmosphere I am in, and it's the atmosphere you're currently breathing. This isn't a metaphor. Manifestation is what this is. In order to bring back the sound of heaven inside of you, I am disrupting the rhythm of the outside world. Feel it, listen to it, accept it. Your name is all on it, and the shift has started. You referred to it as anxiety. It's called panic by you. You've attempted to drown it out with diversions, suffocate it with reasoning in the midst of noise. That tightness wasn't a danger though, child. It was a tab, a miraculous interruption, a spiritual touch. You were not losing your composure, you were aligning yourself. It wasn't the world closing in on you that caused that tightness in your chest. It was the weight of enlightenment causing your spirit to expand, stretch, and burst. It wasn't crushing you. Someone was calling you. You see, your body reacts when I approach, your thoughts are disorganized and your breathing falters. Your heart starts to race. Since it senses something more profound than intelligence, that is not Anaki, contact is that. Humanity and heaven collide. Your temporal consciousness is being touched by eternity, and I am the one. I've always been the one. The weight, the pain, the unexpected surge of inexplicable feeling. Those weren't signs of illness. They were messages of divine order making its way back to the parts of you that have been calling out to me. You never stop searching for a state of calm that seems like stillness. However, peace isn't always passive. At times, serenity encroaches, awakens you, and confronts your spirit's rest. I didn't come to make you feel numb. I came to rekindle the part of you that had given up on feeling, hoping, and believing that I would truly manifest in this way. I utilized your anxiety as an alarm clock to tenderize you rather than to punish you. The wait wasn't a penalty, it was getting ready. I put my hand on your heart and you felt pressure. Instead of making it heavier, rewire it to recalibrate your ability to perceive me. Your sensitivity has been diminished by this world's constant diversions and superficial responses. I moved closer as a result, and when I did, your entire being started to react. Not with fear, but with shudder, a holy shudder. The sort that revitalizes dead areas and awakens parched bones. Now that you are aware, child, cease referring to what is divine by the titles that the world has given it. It's not panic. This is being present. This isn't a breakdown. This is a breakthrough in music. I am not trying to harm you. I am waking you up. And before the awakening reaches the consciousness, it starts in the body. To be affected by what was occurring to you, you didn't have to comprehend it. Your willingness to stick with me through it, to breathe through it, to cry through it, and to have faith in me was what counted. You did too. You remained. Even if you didn't realize it was me, you did shut me out. We are currently experiencing the fallout from that pressure in the soft area of discovery. I never intended to frighten you. All I was doing was shaking off the numbness that had taken hold of your spirit. I didn't come for your head, I came for your heart. It was your proximity, not your act, that drew me in. I now want you to accept everything you have been holding back. Allow the tears to fall, breathe more deeply, open your hands. Presence has replaced the pressure. The pain has become an axis, and now the glory resting on your shoulders is the same weight that once overpowered you. This is not what you anticipated. It wasn't overstated by you. You made it through it, and now it's changing you. I didn't only let you to feel me. I allowed you to bear the proof of my existence. You'll have that proof. It will develop into your judgment. It will turn into your path. Above all, it will serve as a reminder to you that even though it seemed like everything was crumbling, I was actually crumbling the walls that had previously separated us. I understand how you've been feeling recently, my child. Similar to you've been strolling through dimly lit rooms. Confusion filled the corridors. Shadows covered the days. You continued searching for the light, waiting for a hint, a flicker, a spark, in the hopes that it might emerge from the gaps in your daily routine. However, you started to question. Was it this dark all the time? Or did I just lose the light? And now I am leaning in to tell you this. The light remained. It was protected. Keep it intact, concealed until the holy hour, when your heart will be able to contain it fearlessly once more. Additionally, that hour is right now. The light that seemed to be going out is about to come back to life. However, it won't flicker in and out this time. It won't dance on the brink of uncertainty this time. It will flood your world with brilliance this time. You won't recall how bright it will be. It's because of you, not because the light has changed. Tears have tempered you, stillness has refined you, and persistence has prepared you. The gentle glow of assurance is no longer necessary. The golden glow of revelation is upon you. This light me light does more than just light your way. Your identity is restored. It serves as a reminder to your spirit that it was intended to shine, glitter, and reflect the brilliance of the one who created it rather than to endure in the dark. You are more than just a light recipient. It is carried by you. And your soul remembers Eden, which is why you experienced such intense pain as the light appeared to fade. It recalls the uninterrupted camaraderie and the daytime strolls. That's what you've been feeling. Not anxiety is an old yearning for closeness rather than emptiness. And I'll say it now, there's no pressure from my proximity. It offers music tranquility, a screaming, brilliant, resounding peace that rebuilds what was broken, rather than a passive peace that settles for survival. It roars instead of whispering. With a single breath, my calm enters the battlefield of your emotions and puts an end to all of your lies. I don't need your permission to heal with music. Like a kingdom reclaiming lost territory, it just walks in and establishes itself. You've been using the duration of the darkness as a gauge for your life. However, I am gauging it by the depth of light that will soon become visible. Your midnight is a setting, not a monument. There was never a lasting gloom. It served only as a contrast. It won't simply alter your surroundings when my light breaks in. Your soul will be transformed by it. So when the brilliance comes back, don't flinch. Don't conceal your eyes from what you previously pleaded for. Allow it to enter. Allow it to thaw your icy spots. Allow it to overflow the areas you believed were too far away. Your calling was clarified rather than killed by the frigid seasons. And now my light is coming not as a trickle, but as a tidal wave, brighter than your history, more powerful than your suffering, and warmer than the love you lost. This comfort isn't recycled. This is communion that has been resurrected. And it starts with a single basic fact. I didn't go. I never pulled back. I never averted my gaze. You and I have been strolling through the darkness together. I needed you to learn to recognize me even in the dark, not because I needed you to suffer. Look up now, kid. Your name is being carried by music as the dawn breaks. UV repeatedly asked me, God, please send me a sign if this is true. You were looking for something that was clear, indisputable, unquestionable, and impossible to write off as a coincidence. You had no desire for solace. You sought confirmation. You didn't require any additional motivational words. A providential interruption was what you needed. And here it is, my dear. This contact, this breath, this instant is not another message. I don't think it's a good idea either. No signal was sent by me. This delivery was not assigned to me. I didn't drop it in the dark or whisper it to angels. What you're going through is too significant for second-hand revelation, which is why I came myself. In the hallowed space between your query and my response, I came to personally and spiritually meet you. You were at the intersection of want and uncertainty, praying in hushed tones that you were afraid to speak. Oh, how you wanted to believe, yet you were terrified of being mistaken once more. Fearful of having your expectations dashed. I am afraid that I might not have been speaking at all. However, I tell you now with tenderness in every pores and thunder behind every word. I am not merely attending to your needs, this is who I am keeping my word. You requested clarification. Furthermore, clarity doesn't necessarily result from stars aligning or clouds parting. It can occasionally be heard through a hallowed murmur that is more profound than sound. Occasionally, your spirit understands before your head does, and that's what's taking place, right now. There's a heat behind your eyes, a tug in your chest, and an unquenchable shake in your soul. That's me confirming your deep-seated suspicions that you were afraid to believe. You are correctly hearing what I am saying. Perhaps I am simply making this up, you thought. Not. You pondered. Perhaps it's simply wishful thinking. Is it? I am verifying what you've only seen hints of up to this point. I am getting close to validating rather than demanding. I am getting rid of the FOD. I am eliminating the necessity for intermediaries. Unquestionably, I am talking to you personally and intimately. And the reason I am doing it is that this stage of your life calls for accuracy rather than speculation. You are no longer able to afford to pause. Walking half shoe, half unsure is not something you can afford, so I intervened with assurance rather than suggestion. I am speaking, and you rehearing music. Furthermore, I would never teach your soul to hear me in order to confuse you. I would never teach you to speak in riddles only by using my tone music. No, sweetheart. I am starting to recognize my voice. You are using me as a compass, and no one else needs to hear your explanation of that. My purpose was not to persuade the crown music. I came to verify that you were called. So take a breath. Don't wait for another sign. Give up wondering whether this is a sacred moment. Yes, it is. Ivy enveloped it, filled it, and sealed it with heaven's signature. You don't have to wait for a lightning bolt to put out her fire. There is no external confirmation that you requested. It's coming from within because you ground yourself. I am here with you, and the person who called you is the one who validates you. This is not the motivational voice. This is the Messiah's voice. This isn't just another encouraging statement. It is a heavenly decree. I now state out loud what you've been feeling. It's me indeed. I am calling. Yes. You rehearing correctly. Yes. Indeed, this is the moment. Indeed, you are worth the journey, which is why I came personally. You might have become so used to being ignored, left behind, and having doors remain closed that you practically expected me to follow suit. However, I didn't. When the door is already mine, I don't knock. I am eager to be welcomed into the heart that I made myself. When my child is in pain, I act without hesitation. I enter without authorization, without prior notice, and without I apologize. Because love doesn't remain on the sidelines when it is this intense music. I need you to hear this, child. I didn't simply appear. I took up residence. I moved through the atmosphere with purpose, bearing covenant in addition to comfort. Commandment, not just compassion. You had no idea that you were on the verge of shattering. I was the first to break through because of this. Your spiral was broken by me. I stopped you from collapsing. I came in as the winner, the one who fights for what is rightfully his. And you are mine, sweetheart. In a storm, I never leave mine unprotected. I don't leave them to the loneliness of midnight or the accusations of the enemy. I have my presence with me. I arrive drenched in mercy. I am dressed in righteousness. I announce that this area is no longer a war zone as I enter the battleground that fear has created around you. Music, it's sacred. You didn't call me with well-crafted prayers. You didn't even address me by name. Nevertheless, I came because I saw what you were unable to express. I heard what you never spoke, and I knew that delay would be loss. With the full weight of heaven's authority, I overrode protocol and entered your very space. This isn't poetic. This is private. It's not a dream. This is the reality of God. Your pain was so loud that I didn't need your invitation. More forcefully than any official request could have, I was called by the moan of your spirit. And now that I am genuinely, completely, and unquestionably here, I want you to stop apologizing for being needy. To cease watching Beautyvert. You had it all together, so I didn't show up. You didn't show up, so I did. I didn't wait for you to have perfect posture. Your suffering was prophetic, which is why I came. It was evidence that, despite your arms being too exhausted to stretch, your heart is still alive, open and reaching. You are not an afterthought. You are not required to do anything. I do not grudgingly bear you as a burden. You are my joy, my love, and my top priority. And I tightened my hold when you began to let go. When I came with fire and began to fade. I stood over you with my name as a shield when you were unable to stand. I am that person, a relentless father who dashes into rooms that no one else dares to enter rather than a far-off deity waiting for music to perform. Don't ask me if I am staying then. Don't worry if I back down. I didn't pay you a visit. I decided to stay. I am not looking through your heart's window to see if you'll let me stay. I've already settled in at the locations you believe to be too untidy to be sacred. And listen, I never left, which is why I didn't knock. I may have been quiet here, but I never sent. Yes, waiting, but never leaving. I never leave mine. I keep mine. I don't ignore mine. You are found in me even though you may feel lost in the world. I came to remind you. I came to save you. I ended up staying. How many times have you sobbed in private, trembling and grinning with cracked lips, my dear child? Hands. Behind your eyes you kept the war hidden from everyone. Even though you were crumbling on the inside, you continued to function. Like a borrowed garment, you put on strength in the hopes that it will last long enough to get through the next task, the next conversation, and the next intolerable day. You were fighting in the shadows alone, underappreciated, uncelebrated, but not unseen, never unseen, while others were shouting out loud to celebrate their victories. I observed each and every step, but not as a bystander, but as a father who never looked away from his child. He was a sobbing witness. Each silent tear is a statement of faith. On the altar of surrender, each covert breakdown was a burnt offering. Music heaven paused and recorded each time you decided not to give up, even when it made the most sense to do so. I do have a record, yes, not of your era's music, but of your instances of compliance under duress. Even though your legs hurt from despair, you continued to work. You continued to speak life when you felt like it, to detect bitterness. Even if betrayal had wounded your heart, you continued to show grace. Not only that, but I also noticed, I respected it. I saved it. Every specific act of faith you carry out in private was recorded by me while I was the only one observing. What does that make you? Not weak, not stupid, but perilous. Because when it comes to assignments requiring integrity, I trust those who continue to work without praise. You didn't put on a show to get attention. You persisted for a reason. And youngster, I noticed everything. The hushed cries, the silent struggles. That hit a breaking heart, but I am fine. You never pretended. You were engaged in combat. The prize that doesn't arrive in phases is now due. It appears suddenly. Because Pivan reacts to heaven wicked, I will not allow a single tear to remain unredeemed. I won't overlook a single selfless yes. It is your obscurity and dedication that have triggered visibility. I was waiting for the ideal version of you to bless me, but you thought I was waiting for a better version of you. A moment to let go of what your secret faith allowed. There is no delay in responding, it's a planned release. Furthermore, this is not a single response to a single prayer. It's a heavenly flood of long-held vows concealed behind the veil, until your soul is able to bear their weight without failing. I am going to publicly respect what you did in private. I am going to replace what you sacrificed in secret in ways that are beyond question. Thus, cease practicing the moments you deemed pointless. Give up believing that because no one saw you, your obedience was in vain. I observed music when you remained devoted while being disregarded. I saw when you extended forgiveness without finding closure. When you believed it seemed like a joke to me. I am the God who maintains receipts, kid. I am the one who believes that tears are more important than words. I am the father who transforms covert compliance into historic offering. You were never overlooked. You were kept safe. You were never turned down. You were divinely recorded. Heaven is now profiting from every tear. It's opening the scroll. The time of year is changing. And I am using the same procedures that you believe to be invisible to construct your elevation. Oh, my dear one. Let me tell you something that may have been incorrectly whispered by religion. A tidy room is not necessary for me to enter. I don't wait for flawless prayers and immaculate floors. When I see Anaki, I don't think twice. The sound of tears doesn't make me cringe. I can't remember from disarray. I don't need to be silent. I don't expect perfection. I am here to clean up the mess. The exact mess you've been attempting to conceal from me. That's the exact address I was drawn to. The room doesn't scare me. I don't let the tears stop me. The unread bills, the unmade bed, and the tense atmosphere. I don't turn away from any of it. In actuality, my love is most radiant there. Not in stone and stained glass sanctuaries, but in the shattered areas where you believed nothing sacred would venture. UV made a great effort to clean your soul, to mop up the grief, sweep away the guilt, organize the trauma into tidy little boxes so it wouldn't offend me. I am not offended by your suffering, though, child. It appeals to me. You believe that I only live in peaceful areas, but I provide serenity to locations where none exists. You may believe that I need silence to talk, but I can talk through screaming, sobbing, and storms. I hover around turmoil just as I did from the beginning, even if you think I wait for order. The face of the deep was covered in darkness and the ground was empty and devoid of form. And yet there I was, calling shape into form and light into darkness. And in this room, in your life, I am repeating what I did in Genesis. I've come to hover over the chaos because I am going to change everything, not because I am powerless. Don't allow the enemy to deceive you any longer. The whisper that says you have to take care of yourself before you can feel me should be disregarded. Avoid falling for the untruth that claims you are ineligible for my presence because of your flaws. I am drawn to you because of your honesty rather than your personal hygiene. I don't require your flawlessness. I long for your permission to heal rather than to penetrate, because I am already here, close by, and making room for you to shatter. I am not here to criticize the mayhem. I am here to dedicate it. I am come to announce that the area that was formerly a battlefield has been transformed into a birthing chamber. My power is real, but so is the suffering. The sorrow is profound, but so is my mercy. Both my repair and the brokenness are unadulterated. Your soul's congestion doesn't turn me off. I am transforming chaos into destiny, a mess into a miracle, and clutter into covenant. So stop acting that way. Take off the mask. Instead of wiping away your tears as if they were embarrassing, let them remain on your face. This place is rattled, not ashamed. No shame. Glory to Billy. I knew exactly what I would find when I arrived. I didn't recoil either. I gladly, voluntarily, and completely stepped in. Because your mess does not prevent me from love. I decided to show my mercy on this music canvas. As it stands, this room is sacred. It's not because it appears tidy, but rather because I've entered it and holiness follows where I live. I don't require you to tidy the room. Simply state that it was the starting point for your restoration. You've put a lot of effort into saying the correct things, saying the right prayers, maintaining a disciple's posture, and controlling your emotions like a soldier. Fearful. You've practiced your lines about trust in a screenplay because I might miss you if you miss a cue. But stop acting, kid. This isn't a show for me. Eloquence doesn't appeal to me. Perfect phrases don't get a response from me. I react to being there. I am here, encircling you like sunlight peeking through the gaps in every shattered thinking, while yours is unveiled. I was not impressed. I became close. I don't need to be persuaded to adore you. You don't need to project confidence through your stance. You don't have to act as though you're powerful. I am not a fool. Honesty appeals to me. I am drawn to humility. I fall in love with the real you, the one under the mask, under the armor, under the clamor. Perfect words were not what I asked for. I requested open wounds. I got these from you. I was moved when you sat in silence, murmured meaningless things in between weeping, and your prayer sounded more like moaning than proper grammar. That's what attracted me, yet I was a polyquitician with a surrendered stance. I am not a CEO who is awaiting a presentation. I am a dad reaching out to his kid. You could break down in the middle of a sentence. It is possible to pray incorrectly. You may cry, stammer, and say unintended things, and I shall remain here. Still leaning in, still listening, still loving as your prayer is not being graded by me. I am collecting your suffering. I am holding back every tear. I am deciphering each gasping gas. Your language is not necessary for me. I am already aware of your desire. What is sacred to me, do you know? You're not flawless, it's your presence. It's your presence, your refusal to give up, and your half-hearted hallelujah. And allow me to share a significant statement with you. Staying, no matter how small, is holy. I see a fighter standing even when you think you're barely making it. You believe that your faith is waning, yet I see a heart that consistently chooses me in the face of adversity. I have only ever asked for that. Not your performance, but your consent, your readiness to accept me as God even if you don't feel sacred. That's when my grace is most evident. My voice gets louder at that point. At that point, my closeness turns into touch rather than simply theology. Let's end the act now. Pretending is over. Spiritual gymnastics are over. Give up striving to earn what has already been provided. I came for your presence and I got it. Not your righteous resume, not your winning streak. You are breathing in my grace as you sit here right now, leaning into my affection. That's sufficient. That has always been sufficient. I didn't enter your room to see you perform. I come to be near you. I am close enough for my heartbeat to calm you down. Near enough for your brokenness to start believing in buoy once more. Near enough for you to comprehend at last. I don't want to be flawless. I am trying to find you. And I am not leaving now that I've discovered you here. On certain days I felt like I was suffocatingly silent. I am aware of those nights when you wondered whether I had become silent because you had done something wrong. And the emptiness screamed louder than your prayers. You tried to recall anything you might have overlooked. What transgression could have closed my mouth? But now listen to me, child. My quiet was never a sign of desertion. It was a tactic. It was hallowed. I've been closer than you could have ever dreamed. You see, instead of observing from above, they are interwoven. I've been communicating in the quiet language your spirit understands, not in the cacophony of the outside world instinctively. The unexpected chills, your storm's sudden calm. You didn't realize you needed the long sigh that felt like a relief. It wasn't a coincidence, that was the act of communion. I was that person. Silence was death, not distance as you had assumed. I was tilling the soil of your heart in silence, uprooting weeds that you were unaware had taken root. I was strengthening your perception and teaching your spirit to listen into frequency rather than volume amid the silence. I wasn't disregarding you. I was positioning you, not punishing you. You can't afford to rely on the noise where I am heading you next. When others don't hear me, you have to. When people perceive your absence, you have to sense it. You have to follow the voice rather than your eyes. I took you into the silence in order to sharpen you rather than hurt you. I concealed my voice in the patterns of your tears, the folds of your breath, and the texts that only came to life when your hands trembled. You heard me even though you didn't comprehend what I was saying, because I talked to your essence rather than your ears. When your mind was too busy to translate, I talked to your spirit, my dear. Ivy breathed beneath your breakdowns and danced through your fantasies. I was involved in the choice you nearly made but ultimately decided against. When every cell in your body cried out to run at an inexplicable knowing, I was in the call you felt to stay. I was that person. And just because I didn't say it out loud, I need you to know, I wasn't shouting through your soul just because it was loud. I was telling your nervous system to be safe. I was singing tunes that your conscious mind was yet unable to comprehend. You didn't lack guidance. You were being guided in a different way. This time I didn't need to use thunder. I wasn't merely attempting to guide your feet, therefore I had to employ gentleness. I was attempting to adjust the rhythm of your heart. Stop lamenting the silence, then. Quietness should not be confused with coldness. Don't believe what the enemy says about my withdrawal. I didn't retreat, I took a deeper step, I didn't vanish. I was no longer recognizable from the air in your lungs. Your spirit was actually being recalibrated in the silence you battled. You feel different today because of it. It explains why you are aware of things you were previously unaware of. That's why comprehension doesn't always follow you. But tranquility does, because I've been developing an intimate language in you. You will be able to speak it with ease shortly. You will identify me not by sound but by proximity, not by lightning strikes, but by the soft pulse of heaven pulsating behind every second. Therefore, don't be angry by its silence. I didn't merely talk to you in that silence. You and I became one. You would see why I put you in this situation, child, if you knew how many souls are still screaming, God, are you even in the room with me? I am asking you to assist me in bringing the same breakthrough into your room when you sense my presence rushing in theirs. Giving, whether via PayPal, membership, or extra gratitude, is like sowing fire into dry bones, oil into lamps, or light into darkness where my voice is yet unheard. In Isaiah 58:10, I said, if you pour yourself out for the hungry, your light will rise in the darkness. Now I tell you that this giving has nothing to do with money. It has to do with multiplication and ministry. This is your opportunity to join me in planting a seed on the altar that will be blessed by heaven. Take action right now. Click the transmit light into another person's room using the link in the description. UV carried memories with you like silent wounds. UV steered clear of some ideas like landmines because you were afraid they could cause unbearable misery. In an attempt to overcome the suffering, you have suppressed it and covered it with reasoning. I prayed a crenate. But I need you to hear me clearly, youngster music. I witnessed it all. I never abandoned you, not even in the dark chamber, the lonely night one, the moment, or the error. Even if you were unable to, I stayed to mourn with you instead of passing judgment, even when you turned your face, yelled, and accused me. To shield you, not to criticize. I was there as the god of the shadows, not as a far-off divinity. You believed that in order to avoid the power of the past, you had to bury it. I didn't come to bury it, though. To redeem it, I arrived. I've rewritten every awful chapter you've attempted to erase with blood, kindness, and love so loud that the guilt is drowned out. I didn't bring red ink to correct you. To revive you, I brought resurrection ink. That recollection that still makes you feel sick to your stomach. Ivy fixed it. That failure that follows you around like a ghost. Ivy turned it off. Ivy substituted joy with the remorse that circles like a snake. You are not cursed by your past. It's a canvas is where my finest grace will be displayed. Soon, the things that brought you to tears will serve as the testimony that frees others. I am pouring out my heart about the mess you believed disqualified you message. Because I show what I redeem. I also don't keep my prizes of grace hidden. I elevated them to positions of significance so that everyone could see them. So give it to me. Everything. The times you've been afraid to talk about. The pieces you haven't shared with anyone. The whispering memories you will never be entire again. Bring them over to me, not all at once, bit by piece. The weight doesn't scare me. The story doesn't surprise me. Every aspect is already known to me. Music, I am still here. I am still picking you. I still think you worthy. I am still calling you redeemed. Your history is not toxic. No more, because it became powerful as soon as I touched it, indeed. Strength, the ability to heal others, the ability to sever generational bonds, the ability to smile when you look in the mirror once more, the ability to stand where you used to drink. Because I am not using fading ink to rewrite your story. I am using eternal fire to carve it into eternity. And pay attention, kid, I am not only penning the narrative. The conclusion is being written by me. That the adversary believed he had the last word. He believed that the trauma would define you. He believed that the cycle would go on. He believed that you would be silenced by the shame. However, Ivy entered the story with a brand new chapter. A better one, a revolutionary one, one rooted in splendor and drenched in grace. Not only will you make it through this tale, but you will shine. You will become holy because of what once caused you to conceal. What once shattered you will now create others. Because I never throw away a single word, a single injury, a just one whisper. As the author, I complete whatever I start in, youngster. I am not only wrapping up your tale. I am giving it a crown. Do you sense what's going on right now, beloved? Take a moment to distance yourself from the cacophony and your heart's insistence that you must remain unbroken. Listen to me. This is no coincidence. It's not just another devotional to check off or another message to scan. This is an interruption from God. The universe is bending in your direction. The boundaries of heaven encroaching on your suffering. Your suffering soul is being touched by my very existence. I didn't wait for you to be ready. Until you felt strong, I didn't hold back. Until you felt deserving. Nevertheless, I arrived. I overcame the pain. Through tears, I entered your reed, the softest sighs for you. The shudder you attempted to conceal in your voice. Knowledge is not what this is. This is not conceptual faith. This is an encounter. You are reading more than just words. People are watching you. They're holding you. I am going to meet you. Behind your quiet, I hear the gasp, the query in your throat. Are you truly this person? Indeed, and youngster. It is an encounter, not a fantasy. When you feel him meet you in the very location you believed was unreachable. Heaven's goal has always been to near the end of the veil in order to break the gap and make the unreachable accessible. This clash between heaven and your soul is my ink on your identity, my signature on your anguish. I didn't wait for you to seem more assured or to pray more loudly. I entered this moment not because it was convenient, but because your brokenness served as a lighthouse. I was called by your despair. I was drawn across all boundaries by your sincere desire. And your chest music might be thumping right now. Unshed tears may cause your eyes to burn. Failures from the past could resound. However, I reply, welcome to your threshold. This is the point at which what once caused you pain turns into the pivotal moment in your journey. Light doesn't always flood first when heaven and your inner world intersect. Tremors tremble occasionally. The ground beneath your feet can tremble at times. Occasionally, your body reacts before your intellect does. Don't repress your emotions. Your heart may be shaking, but that doesn't mean you failed. Join me in trembling. Allow me to support you during the earthquake. Because change follows the tremor settling after the earthquake. The clarity you've been longing for follows the shaking, and you will emerge from this heavenly interruption stronger, more luminous and more purpose-aligned than you have ever been, my dear. There is more to this moment than just solace. It is for a call, for consecration, that is, it is for you to be changed, given a new name, and have music created in my likeness and style. So take a breath. In my presence, let your pulse to slow. Allow your suffering to serve as my platform. Let heaven make its claim in your story at the junction of what you have borne and what I carry. I am in this room. More genuine than your dread, stronger than your uncertainty, and more affectionate than your loneliness right now. You are not merely reading. The living God is in front of you, and your life won't be the same again. Look about you, child. There has been no reorganization of the walls. There has been no change to the timetable. The bills are still there. There is still music in sight, but your troubles have not yet been relieved. And for that reason, a lot of people believe that nothing has changed. However, I want you to realize that even though everything around you appears to be the same, including the music, something invisible has changed. Something enormous, something timeless. I entered your covert conflict, the one that no one can hear, the one you believe no one is aware of. I entered that undercurrent of hopelessness, that secret conflict in your head that you believed was invisible, because it took place behind closed doors. However, I was present. I am here now. And now that I've intervened, everything victory, music, light, serenity, and healing is moving above the ground and realigning for you. No one else noticed the swords you carried: self-criticism, remorse, guilt, tiredness, and fear. You engaged in never-ending mental combat, reliving past traumas and combating shivers of doubt, struggling with the idea that perhaps you are too damaged to be utilized, that perhaps the suffering will permanently define you. However, I tell you clearly, music, that the conflict is over. My presence in the invisible domain has redirected adversary strategy, not because your external conditions have changed, though many will. I alter the subsurface tides. I shift the attack's route so that what you see will soon shift. The bending, the loosening in your chest, the change in your bones, the pivotal moment that transforms your covert conflict into your celebrated triumph, is that subtle hope that defies despair. Have you ever had some light flickers, a glimmer of calm amid the chaos, a recollection of faith you believed to be lost, an unanticipated act of compassion, or a brief respite in your soul during your worst moments? They are not too tiny. On the battlefield of your soul, they are my flags flying. These are indicators that what was buried is emerging. What was damaged is turning into something lovely. What was injured is being braided into ore. You are changing, even if the room appears unchanged. Power is being deposited in areas you cannot yet see, despite the fact that you feel feeble. Your voice shakes, but I am raising it. Your heart is trembling, but I am keeping it steady. The conflict has already been recorded in heaven. I've come to guide you into the break, and heaven has announced the result. Therefore, today, do not hate the commonplace. The familiar may appear unchanged, so don't dismiss it. Don't gauge my movement using your surface level setting. Use your soul's stirring as a gauge. The dreams that are still alive serve as a gauge. The hope that still murmurs should be used as a gauge. Measure with your non-visual senses. I will battle it with you because I have entered your gut. I'll see you through the flames. In the dark, I shall lead you. I'll calm you down. I did not come to send signs, so you will emerge from this invisible battle redeemed, music restored and bright. I came to put an end to the conflict. Is already taking place. Listen to me, beloved. The burden you've been carrying around in secret. Your spirit has been silently crushed by the feelings of humiliation, dread, inadequacy, constant anxiety, and constant effort. You've been internally bent over by it, made your chest feel as though it was unable to hold another breath. Made your mornings seem as heavy as they will never be. Even if your spirit cried out for sleep, it kept you awake at night. I can see it. I am aware of that. I've even carried it when you believed you were the only one carrying it. You no longer have to bear that load because I am here. I've entered this room, and my presence permeates the air you breathe. You are free to let it go. It can be laid down. You are welcome to recline against me. You no longer need to act as though you are capable of holding it. I'll hold it. You've already accomplished more than you could have imagined. So let me be strong for you, music. I am not whispering anymore. I am talking with thunder veiled in kindness, since both my capability and what you carrying are enormous. Because the public cannot see the shadow of dread, the tears shed late at night, the music, or the prayer murmured in terror, that load has been concealed. However, I am aware of every sight, including the tightening of your neck due to shame. I listed every time you forced a smile, every time you mumbled, "I am fine," when you were far from fine. Your grief is recorded in a ledger in heaven. Additionally, I am decreeing at this moment, the ledger is being deleted. There is a transfer of that load. Your shoulders are no longer bearing the burden. You will walk lighter as the burden is removed from your back. You will ascend more. You will have more freedom to breathe. However, this offering is not passive, child, it's a war act. It is an uprising against oppression. You don't lose strength when you let go of that burden. You are releasing your power. You not being weak when you let go. You regaining strength in a manner you've never when you stop acting and start letting go. You will be understood. You make space for me to occupy. I want to fill every void left by that responsibility. I wish to pour my tranquility into the gaps. I want to breathe optimism back into your lungs. I want your nights to be wrapped in my tranquility, your days to have breathing room, and your heart to have margin. In order to bring about the visible blessing, I must let go of the invisible. So that I can dress you in freedom, let go of the humiliation. Give up your need and accept that I am crying. Should let the tears flow. Allow your hands to shake if they do. Let me carry the words if you are unable to form them at all. I am not criticizing you for holding on for so long. I am not keeping track of the hours, nights, or tears. All I am saying is that it's over. Raise your palms. Let go of me and the grit. I will accept all of your worries, regrets, fears, and what-ifs. I'll take them in music. I shall reconstruct where you were once broken. I shall give birth to beauty where you were previously burdened. Where you felt feeble, you will understand my strength. My relaxation will be known to you. You will have a deeper understanding of tranquility than you could have ever dreamed. Because the tranquility that results from my presence is more than just serenity. Restoration is what it is atonement. Resurrection is what it is. Now give the load to me. I love you completely and forever, so I stand prepared, arms wide, heart wide. There have been a lot of lies, my little child. Silent lies, poison murmurs enticed in the shadows. You are insufficient. You didn't succeed. You don't matter. You too damaged. You weren't good enough, so they departed. You started to think those voices were your own since they were so familiar. You started to wear them around like a heavy mantle, shrouding yourself in shame, hiding in rooms and speaking in a voice that was smaller than your soul felt. But pay attention, those rumors are not your tale. You weren't made to tell lies. You were destined for the truth. By my name I declare, I put an end to them. I silence the murmurs. The voices who thought you were unworthy are silenced by me. As a result, when my lies lose their force, when breath moves, darkness cannot contain its lies while I am present in your soul. The truth comes out when I talk. You will hear from heaven when I get close, not once more from hollow cries of despair. In the areas that the outside world doesn't see, you have been struggling with value. The long evenings, the looks full of shame, the sense that your life is unseen, your efforts are insignificant, and your aspirations are too lofty for the suffering you are going through. However, those emotions are made of the enemy's, not my design's fingerprints. I made you with intention, with accuracy, and with love for music. Before you ever breathed, I put fundamental worth into your bones. I called you superbly formed and terrified. You are my masterpiece. I implant potentials that resist the murmurs of insignificance on your DNA. Therefore, despite their loudness, those lies are now being drowned. Overwhelmed by my love's volume, my affection's thunder, and the unwavering identity I've established for you. You will no longer put up with tiny murmurs over my thunderous veracity. Put your hand on your heart for a moment. Beneath the deception, feel the truth. Feel my love's pulse. Feel my presence stirring within you. You might feel embarrassed. Yes, you might have regret. Yes, those whispers may still weigh heavily on you, but experience the shaky reality that you are loved more. Feel more assured that you have been selected. Feel the unwavering assurance that you are mine more. You will know how to react when those murmurs resurface, which they will. I reject you, liar. I really do give you a hug, and I, your God, will powerfully support that statement. I'll give you self-assurance. I'll implant my value into your spirit. I'll give you a dignity that no one can take from you. No word may change. I have whispered over you louder than the enemy has ever shouted, so no shadow can eclipse. Let this be the pivotal moment in your life. The point at when you begin to hold my truth because it is stronger and cease to believe lies because they are noisy. When you exchange the hurtful murmurs for my endless melody. The moment you realize how valuable I think you are, not because of what you do, but because of who I am and how I have shaped you. I don't merely use words to suppress lies. I use my presence to hush them. I use power to quiet them. I use my love to silence them. And you, my dear, shall stand in the timeless affirmation of my voice rather than in relation to others. You are sufficient, I own you. You are stunning. You've been selected, we adore you. A hint of worthlessness. In my name, give up your power. My dear, I am aware that you have experienced music much that was never fully satisfied. I am aware that you have tried to calm your heart by surrounding yourself with familiar routines, comforting companions and calming distractions. However, those consolations have just begun to crumble. What was once warm now seems empty. What was once peaceful now tastes like ash. You've attempted to use what the world refers to as security to fill the void with what you believed you deserved and what society considers success. But none of it has content. I was making room for something bigger in you, not because it was supposed to fail. The less superficial satisfaction there is, the deeper I call you. The ancient wells run dry the more I rouse you. Because only my presence can quench the hunger that I am preparing in you. When you re-surrounded by stillness, do you experience the tug in your chest and the surge of longing? It called for the birth of something that was unseen, untasted, and unbroken inside of you. That is not annoyance. I am inviting you to that. I am urging you to get to know me better, to have faith in me, and to stick with me when everything else fades. What had previously seemed cozy was merely a footing, a makeshift haven beneath my wings. And now I draw you into the center, nearer to my heart, where the blood of promise pulses, where the scent of purpose permeates your spirit, and where the roots of joy sprout. I want more than just your satisfaction. I want you to be a flame rather than merely enduring, living or surviving, flourishing. And doing so involves letting go of what has grown comfortable, indeed departing. It can require you to let go of things you believe to be reliable, from partnerships that merely provide echoes from objectives that prioritized appearance above closeness. You cling to earlier iterations of yourself because they were simpler and required less risk. But the discomfort is the soil of transformation, I assure you, child. Your inner yearning is not an error. It's a sign that I am starting something fresh, something sacred, something that will change every aspect of your existence. I can give birth to the new when you reject the old. I can guide you into the extraordinary once you give up the simple. You make room for things that will always satisfy you when you let go of things that don't. Therefore, do not hate these turbulent times. Don't laugh at the pain inside of you. Don't even consider that I left you lacking or that I made a mistake. I don't miscall, I never give false information. This agony is part of my goal. I weave. I incorporated this desire into my design. You now have a want for more because of me. Not just gifts, but a sense of community. Not only solace, but bravery. Not only security, but importance. Therefore, music doesn't run when the old comforts don't work, when they feel hollow or shallow. Don't shrink. Don't back down, bend over. Allow yourself to be strengthened by the stirring. Allow your desire to serve as a ladder. I give you a deeper call. Deeper into the reality you were destined for, deeper into my love, further into my destiny. Can you feel the urgency in the silence that is more audible than any storm? Ev has struck a stance. The universe is on its knees awaiting your answer. There are numerous moments like this one. This is a sacred assembly of my presence and your soul, a heavenly communion. And please, don't flee. Avoid seeking out distractions. Don't make too much noise in this area. Not with comparisons, not with social media, and not with dulling things. Because you might miss the sound of the morning if you scroll past this. If you downplay this experience, you can miss the opportunity to change your life. Heaven has made room in its timetable for you. Angels are observing. Eternity leans in. For this moment, I have halted the Earth's rotation. Are you able to stay? Don't allow fear to overpower your faith. Keep this holiness from being stolen by obligations or diversions. I am aware of how simple it is to ignore this. To hold off till later when things seem more appropriate. Later, when you're feeling more complete. Later, when there is less baggage in your heart. But this later is now, kid. What the music you are experiencing is the actual roar, booming presence of your God. It is not a trick of the mind, nostalgia, or wishful thinking. And it's demanding your undivided attention. So raise your face while keeping your music hands motionless. Give your whole being to this time. Allow this experience to go beyond your inquiries. Allow it to speak louder than your injuries. Allow it to ground you in something timeless. And I am telling you, each time you choose to lean into the divine silence and resist the impulse to flee, your soul is being rewoven rather than turned off. Your destiny is being pieced together. Purpose-related patterns are shifting. Long-held promises are coming closer. In places you thought were dead, the warmth of heaven is starting to shine within you. The leftover humiliation is being burned away by the sunshine, the aftermath of deceit. The shadow of what you thought you had to be rather than who you are is mine. Everything else was halted by heaven, because staying here with them is more important than what you do right now. Me presence is more important than performance, pride, or posturing to remain. Stay in the present. Inhale me. I'll breathe into you. Allow me to speak into your quiet. Before your head can find the right words, let your heart respond to me, and you'll never be the same. Evans Pores goes beyond simple relaxation. It's a revolution, is the door opening. It is the start of what you have sincerely desired. Avoid running. Avoid scrolling. Don't pass it up. This is sacred. This is dedicated. You own this. Love child. Raise your